Today, I want to share with you some of the common questions I get about subconscious training and mindset training. One of the biggest questions that I hear from people are always, Cappy, does it work? Does subconscious training really work? And the answer is, of course, it works. I've been doing this for 30 years. I wouldn't do something that didn't work because your subconscious is a million times more effective as an information processor, and it holds all of your thoughts, your behaviors, and your actions and reactions 24/7. So when you think about your decision making process, understand all that's coming from your familiar feelings that are stored in your subconscious. And when we get to go into the subconscious, if you will, and rewire it and make the inner changes necessary, then people find when they come out of that relaxed state of mind, they're able to implement all the other things they want to do and know they should be doing. So that's question number one. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Cappi Pidwell. I am a master of NLP and hypnotherapy, and I coach and train high performers and sales professionals and entrepreneurs how to get their outcomes, increase their income, and create really super smart strategies for them to have the success that they've been seeking for a long time. So let's get into number two now. Another question I hear is, will it work for me? A lot of people wonder, I don't know, Cappy, I'm really stubborn. I have a hard head or whatever. And the reality is, it works for anybody who has the desire. If they want the change and they've seeked the change and they've tried to make the change, but something's blocking and stopping them, it really is working with a professional that can help you really identify that and then break up that belief, break up that subconscious inner energy and emotion that you've probably had for years. And I tell people those feelings are typically very familiar for you. So, traditional logical change, if somebody says, don't feel sad about that, and inside you're feeling sad about it or mad or whatever, it doesn't change through logic. Emotions don't change through logic. So, if you have the desire to make more money and you have the will and all that good stuff, then yes, it absolutely works. If somebody says, Cappy, this would never work for me, I tell them, you're right. This isn't for everybody. So you really have to be willing and coachable in order for it to work for you. Another common question I get is, am I going to lose control? Or are you going to make me do things I don't want to do? And I find that really funny because there's so many misconceptions about hypnosis because people have seen the stage hypnosis. They've seen people dancing with broomsticks and mops and, doing really, really silly things. So if you can be suggestible to do those types of things, what I discovered as a hypnotherapist was, why wouldn't I utilize it to leverage and level up myself instead of doing goofy things, right? So basically, when you go into a relaxed state of mind, it's kind of like being absorbed into a movie or watching a video like this, or maybe driving your car where, you're on autopilot and you're driving down the street, but you're thinking about 20 other things and yet you're driving a vehicle, right? So that's the alpha state of mind. And that's really when you start understanding and I start training you about the different levels of consciousness. The reason I make people products is because you're going to hear that over and over again when you go to sleep at night. And the different suggestions are going to fall into different layers of your consciousness as you're going in between the beta, alpha, theta, delta states. And again, I don't want to dive too deep into that, but it works extremely powerful when you know how to rewire the mind. And that's why you want to work with somebody that really knows how to help you specifically get the outcomes that you've probably been dealing with for many, many years. So I always say, get rid of the words. It's not about hypnotherapy or hypnosis or NLP. It's really about getting the outcomes you want. Another common question I hear is, how long does this take? And there's just so many different answers to this because everybody's been wired differently, right? Some people are super motivated, really clear. They get one session and they're, in such a great space and place and they excel much faster. And some other people have deeper patterns. They might have had a, lack consciousness since they were really little, and it might take more repetition for that person to begin to feel that more real. And again, that's a kind of a suggestion, right? To feel things real. If you can tell someone, feel abundant, and they go, woohoo, I'm going to get motivated and jump around the room and feel good. And yet they sit down and they're by themselves and they're not. It's like a temporary fix or something if maybe they go to a seminar, hear a good podcast or something like that. But the reality is you have these inner energies, these inner emotions, these inner thoughts that are floating through your head 24/7, even when you're sleeping. So to rewire a person, depending on that individual, really just it works for anybody who wants it. You just have to be willing to do the work, right? This isn't logical. I can't talk to you about it and have you make those inner changes. I can give you exercises. I can give you my free PDF, which, by the way, go get. It's on my website. It's 5 daily tips to master your mindset. My website is my name, cappipidwell.com. Go get that and put it next to your bed. Print it out. Don't just keep it on your phone. Print it out, put it next to your bed, read it every day. You have to do the work, right? Right? You can't just, and that's just a simple freebie. But again, it's really depending on you, your drive, your coachability factor, your openness. And are you willing again to just hit play every single night and let the rewiring happen and occur for you? It's very, very powerful. And then you start releasing those old patterns. And you wake up and you just go, wow, like what happened? I have a lot of clients tell me they feel like somebody has like taken a wipey and cleaned their, head out. They're not obsessing over past thoughts. They're not stuck. They're not frustrated anymore. You start having an inner freedom that gives you so much freedom. It's just so incredibly powerful. And I'll share a quick story with you guys from my own experience. So when I started doing this work over 30 years ago, I was in sales and I was very stressed out. I would clench my teeth at night and not sleep very well because I was always under like this pressure to produce. I had a high quota and just a lot of pressure in a corporate sales position I was in. And so I got lockjaw. I got TMJ in my jaw. And so when somebody suggested I go try hypnotherapy, I was like, yeah, right. No way. It was very much out of my scope of interest or know-how, and again, today, 30 years later, it's a very different conversation than it was a long time ago. But I was desperate, and I went to a regular doctor, and after they told me the surgery and all the things they wanted to do, I thought, "You know what? I'm gonna go try it." So I went, and after one session, my jaw popped open. I had lockjaw for 5 days, you guys. I was drinking Slim Fast, I was drinking a lot of water, it sucked, honestly, it was not fun. So, when that outcome happened so fast for me, and back then, it was cassette tapes, of course, she gave me a little cassette tape, I just kept listening to it, and I couldn't believe how good I felt. I don't even think I really knew the stress that I was under and the pressure I put on myself, the pressure to produce, the pressure to get the outcomes, the pressure to make money. I was very hard on myself. I don't know if anybody can relate. But it really opened my eyes to a whole nother level of learning other than the things I was learning through, the sales training and all the things I was going through, which again, it's good stuff. But nobody ever taught me about the internal part of me. So after I started listening to this little tape, I went back to her and I said, what else can you do for me? This is incredible. So I started working with this woman and just listening to these tapes, and my business grew by probably fourfold in about 6 months. It was incredible. People started coming up to me going, "What are you doing, Cappi? Like, how are you? You just seem different." I can tell you my confidence, my clarity, my focus, my just level of communication and understanding of myself, it was so easy. And if somebody was rude or they didn't like me, I just let it like bounce off. I'm like, next, who's next? It was just, it's hard to explain until you actually go through it. But I was so, adjusted, if you will, through this processing, and then I started going to school for it because it fascinated me because my outcomes were like nothing I'd ever accomplished, and I took a lot of personal development classes. I've gone to lots of seminars, I read a lot of books, um, but this modality for me was magical, and I think 30 years later, I've been able to touch many, many lives as a result of becoming a master of neurolinguistic programming and a master hypnotherapist. It's been a really cool journey, and I actually had my younger daughter through hypnobirthing in 20 minutes. That's a whole nother story. I'll tell you another time, but it really does work for everything. So, let me get back and jump back into the questions. So, the power of repetition through the products I make, again, on my website, you can go, I say, buy me in a box. I have ebooks and subconscious sessions, but it's important to understand that your mind is really amazing. And most people just don't maximize it or leverage it to get new updates. It's like having a cell phone and you have old apps on it that are running old programs and they just keep running and running and running, right? So when you begin to change those things from within, and that is why I love hypnotherapy so much, because it really is about the specific suggestions that we're feeding to your subconscious mind. So, for instance, on my website, I have a program called Rewire Your Money Mindset. And the ebook is a fill in the blank. All my books and programs have a fill in the blank because if you don't know what's stored in your subconscious mind in the first place, and you're just trying to listen to, meditations and different things, and it might feel good, but you're not seeing the outcome. It's because you're not really going within to discover what is the belief I have? What's the energy and emotion I hold around this? So in my ebooks, I walk you through questions to your subconscious so that you get the answers and understanding of what's been stored in you. Step one. Yeah. Then step 2 is the subconscious application activation session, okay? So all my programs, if you go to my website, have either an ebook or workbook and then a subconscious session or a few subconscious sessions depending on the programs that you get. When you work with me one-on-one, I customize those products for you. I do a very deep dive with you to find out your blocks, your stops, the things that are happening for you. And again, that's a whole nother deal. But let's again talk about one more question. How does this help me make more money? I get this question a lot when I'm speaking at events. People go, Cappy, I want to work with you, but how does it help me make more money? And the reality is, this again is kind of a deep dive because you have a personal relationship to money. Were you programmed that money was easy and flowed and everything you touch turns to gold and you live in lavish and you can buy anything or have anything you want? There are people in the world that live in that consciousness of pure wealth. And it's beautiful and they're very fortunate. But I would say the majority of people don't grow up in the environment where they're just living in opulence and prosperity and so much, right? The average individual grows up either, in a medium household where things are good and life is fine and you can afford this and do this. That's great. And then there's another group of people that never have enough. Money's not there. They struggle with money. So there's different levels of people's relationships to money. And it doesn't matter. I can tell you, I work with people that make a lot of money and they have different things in their life that are stressing them out. Maybe they don't sleep good. They drink too much. Their marriage is falling apart. They're stressed all the time over their investments. So it's not the amount, it's the a relationship you have to it. If you get by and you're like, oh, I'd like to make more, that's a whole nother relationship. If you're a person who's like, oh, I don't have the money and you're constantly thinking and feeling that energy, that's something internally that needs to shift in order for you to attract and be in more lavish, more luxury, more prosperity, if you will. So, how does it change your money mindset? Is you doing the work. You have to do the work and understand how is your money mindset wired? Are you wired to stress over money? Do you look at things and stress over money? Are you, free with your money? Do you look at your money in your bank account and go, oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that I have money to pay my bills. And this is so fabulous. And I have a ton here, right? I do a lot on money. I'll put some other videos at the end here. I have a visual hypnosis a session here on your money consciousness. It's very, very powerful. And yeah, so this is a really important relationship that you're going to have every single day for the rest of your life. And I find that when people want to increase their money mindset and yet they constantly say they don't have the money, oh, Cappy, when I get the money, I never hear from them again because that pattern is so thick and it takes up so much time and energy for them, and they're not rewiring it through, again, reading the daily mindset tip sheets, going on my other YouTube uh, videos on your money mindset, and doing some work, right? Getting the Rewire Your Mindset program. It's $97. I've got other programs on there too. But again, I can only give you so much. You have to do the work. But your money mindset is really, really, really important. It is a relationship. And as you enrich it, your income is not just about strategy. It's not just about hard work and struggle. It's about your core identity. It's about your money beliefs, your money emotions, your money patterns. And do you feel safe with earning a lot of money and having a lot of money, receiving more, right? So when I help my clients change their internal money mindset, their internal money emotions, their money patterns, they're really able to take different action steps. They find themselves aligning with different opportunities. They follow through more consistently. Their communication gets effortless. And I will tell you, all of this is a process, but these are the common questions I hear all the time. Yes, it works. It just depends on how coachable and open you are in order for it to work for you personally. So if it's something you want to do, I highly recommend you either book a call with me. That link is in the notes here in the description and really get clear on what's right for you, right? So I'm not typically the first coach people hire. Usually people have done some type of coaching or work or whatever. This is a pretty high level of learning. It's very rapid results, but you do need to be open and know what you want to accomplish, right? So I highly recommend you book a call, check out some of my products on my website. But again, make sure that you are really focused on the outcomes and taking action, not just saying, "Oh, Copy, that sounds really good." Go get the free download, do the work, get ready to get really rapid results if you work with me. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. And do me a favor, comment on this video. I'm really doing a lot more YouTube videos now, and I would love your feedback, your input, and even your questions. Hope you're having a great day, and I will see you soon.